Well, good morning, my friends. Ruben Obed here, back again with a new episode of Solar Power for Dummies. This is episode 13, and this is going to be a very quick episode. And basically, I'm talking about AC amps versus DC amps. A lot of people have a confusion around about amps. An amp in AC is an amp in DC. An amp is an amp. Okay, there's no difference. Now, what is different is the amount of amps. So we all know that if we buy let's say a car battery, or a deep cycle battery, because we're talking about solar, so we should be focusing on deep cycle batteries. Um, let's just, for these purposes, say you have a 12-volt deep cycle battery that you purchase at the store, and it gives you 100 amp hours. It means that if you have something that runs on 1 amp, theoretically, it's supposed to run for 100 hours. 100 amp hours means that whatever it is you're running, if it's running on 1 amp, right, it should run for 100 hours. But the problem comes in when you're mixing AC with DC, because I'll give you a perfect example. You see this fan right here. This is just a regular AC. Okay, AC Lasco fan. Okay, AC. But if you turn it upside down, you see this. All right. Okay, you see that where it says this runs on 120 volts, 0.65 amps. All right, 0.65 amps. So the person that sees this says, "Wow." Then that means I could practically run that fan for more than 100 hours with a battery. Not quite. What happens is, it's at 120 volts. If it would have been at 12 volts, yes, your battery would have been able to run it 100 plus hours. But since it's at 120 volts, that means that 0.65, you have to multiply it times 10 in order to get the proper DC amps. So if you plug it into your house, yes, it's drawing 0.65 amps. But if you hook it up to a battery, it's pulling 6.5 amps, because you got to multiply it times 10. So a regular fan like this is pulling every hour 6.5 amps from your 12-volt battery, which is a lot. Add to that the inverter, which itself draws amperage as well, probably not that much, but let's say give or take an amp. So just by turning on a fan like this with an inverter, you're drawing from your battery 7 amps. So this fan with one deep cycle battery might run you 3.5, 4 hours on one deep cycle battery. You see a big difference? You would have thought 100 hours. No. And that's the difference between AC amps and DC amps. So when you have an appliance that is AC, like a fan like this, shout out to JC, hello. So when you have a fan that is AC, and it says that runs on 0.65 amps, you have to multiply those amps times 10 in order to get the amps that it's going to draw from a 12-volt battery. Okay? That is very confusing to some people. A lot of people were already confused in terms of when sizing their battery banks, but now they know. So, and it's really bad for a person. They buy a battery, a deep cycle battery, it's 100 amp hours, and then they look at an AC fan, and they think that the one battery, they're gonna run that fan for a long time. It's not. It doesn't work that way. Batteries are 12 volts. Your house socket is 120 volts, which means that this fan, if it's connected to the house, it'll draw 0.65 amps. But if it's connected to a deep cycle battery, which is 12 volts, plus the inverter, you're pulling upwards of 7 amps every hour. So divide the 100 amp hours by the 7 amps that you're going to be drawing every hour. That'll give you the realistic runtime of a fan like this on a deep cycle battery. And always remember, when you're talking about flooded lead acid batteries, they only like being discharged to 50%. So you have even less time with that, you know? So I hope you guys learned this. I hope you guys like this video. If you like these videos and you wish to make a contribution, my PayPal link will be in the description. Any amount helps us continue to do these videos and to cover costs and to, you know, buy additional things that we may need that we cover on the program. So take care, guys. God bless. And Solar Power for Dummies, episode 13.